culmination of the Bitcoin lows and the stock market lows.
In our final few minutes, I want to look into next year, past the halving, because as you know, as you mentioned, that's a huge catalyst, cuts the supply faster than half. In this next bull market, whenever that is, where do you see Bitcoin? What's the range you see Bitcoin topping?
Wow, that's a great question. So for me, I would tend to look at trend lines and going to trend line analysis. And I mean, if we talk next bull market, we're talking fully regulated. Everyone is singing Kumbaya, even the SEC, which seems unlikely, but I think it will eventually happen. And I think that you have institutions like BlackRock and hedge funds and pension funds, they're all moving into Bitcoin as part of their portfolio. It's going to be considered part of the diversified portfolio. Having said that, I think what you do is you take this trend line here from the high of 17 to the highs of the 2021 market, and you start looking and saying, okay, that might be a good target price of where price could go. So if we just go like this, and I can extend this out a little bit more, we could potentially be looking at the next cycle high. The next bull market high right now is around 90,000. But I think very likely by that time, this line is a little higher. It's upsloping, so it's probably around 100,000 at that point.
Yeah, man, that would be wild.
Yeah, and this is, by the way, just to say this, guys, a lot of people say, oh, Garrett's a bear or whatever, but like I just follow price action, right? It's just like, it's me just looking at the chart, and the chart tells me with slightly better probabilities than not which way things going to go. So, you know, again, when we get in that bull market, I'm going to be a full-fledged bull when the charts tell me to be a bull. It's just until then I have to remain skeptical.
And by the way, going off that, I heard a trader say once that I respect, trading is not about being right. Trading is about making money, meaning adjusting your position based on what the charts are telling you.
That's right. And then I think that's important. A lot of people say, oh, well, he said this a year ago. Well, you know what? A good trader will change their view based on what the charts and the data is telling them. And so you have to be ready. Anyone who stays stuck in their mode and is unwilling to change will...
And what if you're wrong? Because I feel like around 20K, everybody's expecting lower lows, and we rallied this first half of the year.
Yep.
So what happens then?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So what you do is, and let's just go back to Bitcoin. So there's very much defined levels on Bitcoin. So for me, this was the line in the sand that I talked about. Even maybe when we talked last, we were talking about this 31-ish level. If we get above that, then I think that's the culmination saying that, okay, this is a new bull market. But as long as we stay below this level, which was rejected multiple times, then I think for me at least, I'm in the camp that this is a bear market rally versus a bull market, new bull market. Those could come together.
And we brushed over Ethereum. You mentioned it. Can we look at price targets for ETH too? Because like you said.
So yeah, so let me just go into this chart here on Ethereum. And what we could see is Ethereum is still holding technical support. Right around 1600 to 1650 is still support. It pierced the low, which made a lower low, but it still bounced back above. Now, if you take that lower low out and you take out this area, you're headed down towards 1375. And then ultimately you're headed down to about 1100. Now, interestingly enough, I want to show you guys this. There's a head and shoulders pattern here on the chart of ETH, right? So we have a shoulder here. Here's your head, okay? And here's your other shoulder. Now, your break point, this white line was your neckline, which broke, and that kick-started a move down that will culminate. And I want to show you this because this is really cool. You can actually calculate your target on your head and shoulders. So how low should this head and shoulders fall? You take the highest point of the head, drop a plumb line down right to the neckline. So it's 665 points. And from the break point where the neckline gets broken, you do that same drop, 665 points. And basically you're at this target down here. So for me as a technician, I'm going to start to accumulate heavily on Ethereum if I say if because there's no guarantees in trading, but if we get down to the completion of this head and shoulders, which is what should happen here,